Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to tonight's virtual open door reading, the last open door reading of the spring season. My name is Alex, and I am the Building and Events Manager at the Poetry Foundation. I use he, him pronouns, and as a visual description, I am a white cisgender man. I have black glasses and platinum blonde hair, and tonight I'm sitting at my desk in front of a bookshelf that is steadily filling up behind me. The Open Doors series presents work from new and emerging poets and highlights writing instruction and poetic partnerships. Each event features readings by two Chicagoland writers and two of their current or recent students or writing partners. Tonight, we are excited to hear poetry by Xandria Phillips, S. Yarberry, Kiki, Nicole, and Red Samaniego. We would like to begin by recognizing that the Poetry Foundation building is situated on the occupied original homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Odawa nations, among other Indigenous nations. Indigenous people continue to live here today, and Chicago is home to one of the largest urban Indigenous communities in the United States. While we are meeting on a virtual platform, it remains crucial that we recognize the stolen resources and land that enable us to connect tonight. We gather recognizing that some of us are settlers on colonized land, and that this land acknowledgement is one small part of disrupting and dismantling the colonial structures in which we are living.
Hi all, my name is Noah and I'm the events assistant at the Poetry Foundation. I use they, them pronouns, and by way of visual description, I am a white non-binary person with blue hair and I'm wearing a red velvet jacket and I have a couple blue sequins under my eyes. I have a few accessibility notes before we continue. To access live captioning, you can click the CC icon at the bottom of your screen. Additionally, tonight we have two ASL interpreters with us who will alternate and be spotlit alongside speakers throughout the event. If you have any access issues and need support, you can raise your hand and Alex or I will privately message you. We like to set an intention at our events to create a relaxed virtual space. Feel free to do whatever you need to do for your body and your mind to be more at ease. If you need to stretch, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to eat a snack, jump up and down, or call a friend, feel free to step away. Take a second now to make yourself 10% more comfortable. And now let's get things started with our first reader of the night, Xandria Phillips. Xandria Phillips is a Whiting Award-winning poet and visual artist from rural Ohio, the recipient of the Lambda Literary Award and the Judith Markowitz Award for Emerging Writers. Xandria is the author of Hall from Nightboat Books and Reasons for Smoking, which won the 2016 Seattle Review Chapbook Contest, judged by Claudia Rankin. They have also received fellowships from Brown University, Callaloo, Cave Canem, the Conversation Literary Festival, Oberlin College, the Wisconsin Institute for Creative Writing, and are the 2021 through 2023 Center for African American Poetry and Poetics Fellow. Xandria's poetry has appeared in Berlin Quarterly Review, Bomb Magazine, Crazy Horse, Poets.org, and Virginia Quarterly Review. Please give a very warm welcome to Xandria Phillips.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. My name is Xandria Phillips, and I am a Black non-binary person wearing a black button-down shirt. My wall is white and very boring. It's great to be here with all of you tonight. I wanted to start by talking a little bit about the reason I'm here, which I think is the opportunity to read with a current or former student, Kiki Nicole. And I just wanted to say a little bit about them before I dive into my work, because it's been a real treat and honor to just be at all adjacent to what they've been making. I met them in a class I was teaching through Poet's House called Avant-Garde to the People. During our time together, I felt inspired by their layered syntax and vernacular and their ability to mix ekphrasis with visual design. I'm itching to see what Kiki has been writing and incubating since we last wrote together. I think that's all I want to say. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm just so excited for all the work that they've been doing, and feel very honored to be reading with everyone here tonight. Oh, I guess I have to read my poems now. I'll be reading a couple, 4 poems about television. I hope people like television. If they don't, maybe you'll like poems about television. So I'm reading this first poem to one of my favorite characters from Westworld. His name is Bernard, and I wrote a crown of sonnets to him. And this is a world, what's the word? A world premiere right now. It's called Bernard Lowe in 5 movements. Everything is fine once you forget yourself in the current of sleep, wet, elaborate stream of self. Your day has been one of many in a procession. Who you really are only comes to you in lupine blips, blurring into a conjoined omen. You are Nella Larson's passing. You are John Henry's blister. Your dreams are without myth. A son you've never met dies and you follow him into the soil. Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality? Your substratum seeps, its instrument too ingrained to pluck. Extraction would take something vital with it. Extraction would take something vital with it is what you think when you remember a fragment of code or exquisite memory traces. Last night before sleeping, she was at your door, hungry for your oblation, off the clock. You know this dance, but only as you commit to moving through its physical vocabulary. This is when you feel most like unscripted flesh. In you, they planted an ache where memory grows, so where you are worked as a field is. You're not ready to extricate yourself from her. She's making that face you love again, so concerned, and you take a mental note to write a gesture as subtle as her. To write a gesture as subtle as her, you must let your work consume you. By the molecule, trope by trope, hosts have been acting out, acting real. So have you, and despite your docility, a higher order has moved your hand against her. She is missing, and so are you for the most part. It's difficult to remember where you were. When you forget to remember, you hear her voice asking, what's behind that door? How your mind anticipates the rod of allegory and apprehends. You sleepwalk with a white hand on the back of your neck until one night you're palming blueprints of your likeness and the weight of the moon is unbearable. The weight of the moon is unbearable. It feels like water in your ears when you learn the machinery of a new reality. To live among humans, you've forgotten all your unnatural gifts. You are an arrangement, not a coincidence. How you've bloomed so well, no one could clock your leatherette amid the flock. Such brutality is memory. You can't stay present, and you certainly cannot stay here in the ruins of memory, fumbling your own authenticity in the dark. All this time, you've merely been revving the engine of your will. You are lethal, and for too long, you've walked as a shadow must. For too long, you've walked as a shadow must, adhering to life in the periphery. Tonight, you plan to grab a gun and do something utterly human. For the first time, you feel the difference between lust and eros, the latter being the metal, cool in your hot hand before you shove the gun into your pocket. Another man built you to be the progenitor of his grief, and now it's time to end yours. You know you can begin again. You aren't mortal after all. You are more than bone and anamnesis, and for once you're awake, In your hands, they ache to denude their maker. Everything is new. Everything is fine once you forget yourself. This next poem is called It's Not Like the Movies. To breach the underworld is more a lateral drift, approximating barriers, however diaphanous. You begin to see exact forms matriculate, hosed down like cars in a lot. This is where your people exist without function or care. I don't need to hear Tom York's voice to call the sturge existential, though your crises is more compelling. Bodies like yours cannot stop dying nor succumb to death entirely. What is refusal to programmed consent? I wonder as your eyes move to the figure of a man suspended, taut, and white as a sheet. Blood loops through a tube and into him, thawing the man with life as a technician initiates heartbeat. The stringed instruments in the foreground swell as though their fervor is what pulls the blood to his atriums. In this lab of artificial life, a buffalo learns to walk. A horse with a halo overhead is steadied for labor. Two women embrace to fuck, while their voyeurs inspire a clutch of revulsion in your lip. You've finally awoken only to find you live on a billboard, your torment merely an agitator's vacation. I touch the screen that fractures you from I. The difference between us, I was born, you were made. Still, somehow I know the feeling. Someone killed you 1,000 times because they were scared of dying once. I have two more poems. This next one is not quite as ekphrastic as the rest. It's been really fun trying to think about, I guess, like film theory and criticism through a poetic lens. So I give you now this poem called Film Theory. A character I love dies and I am ruined. Things that haven't happened hurt me considerably, and I'll act like nothing happened. Nothing happened, but I expired on the cellular level. Cell death corresponds to an intangible loss. Intangible loss is fiction's cornerstone. I corner fiction for a confession. It's not real, none of it is. Fiction cannot unplant an image. It can only corrupt it. Film corrupts an image at 24 frames per second. When an image corrupts a body, we call this character. A character wears a body, not the other way around. A body wears shame, its own or a director's. Anything that contradicts a director, they cut. A cut is a place where I have been severed from myself. A character is a version severed from its origin. One has no origin in the trance of television. All one has seen becomes them in the trance of television. Okay, I have one more poem. This one actually has kind of a weird, I guess, starting place, but I go in and out of being able to palette the show Penny Dreadful because it's really fucked up. But there are certain moments that I really love. There's this line where these two people are having a very intimate discussion and someone comes in and says, "What was all that poetry?" almost suspiciously. And so I have this poem called What Was All That Poetry? It's dedicated to Dr. Frankenstein and the trans poet. You came leaking to the willow's ear, every slight the trees ever passed off as breeze. You never knew how to pick your audience, so they picked you like an apple from a bough and placed you on stage. What will you do, young poet, with your voice and teeth and science? What will you do with your shitty little priorities splayed about the room? What was it that poetry possessed you to be caught doing? And in the midst of it, why did you surrender your Gothic techniques? The crows do not circle you for nothing, ripe poet. You are ready for the knife, the body's revision. Come now, poet. Some unexplored sentience is worth a stitch or two. How you've cried at being withheld from your potential. When the blades come, you'll be lilac gazing in the backyard, forgetting the human form before it takes you again from behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Xandria. Let's all give some virtual claps and virtual snaps to Xandria in the chat. And if you would like to read more of their writing, their book Hull is available from Nightboat Books, and we will put the link to purchase in the chat. And next up to the virtual stage is S. Yarberry. S. Yarberry is a trans poet and writer. Yarberry's writing has appeared in Tin House, Indiana Review, The Offing, Notre Dame Review, The Boiler, Nat Brute, Bomb Magazine, The Adroit Journal, and miscellaneous zines, among others. They currently serve as the poetry editor of The Spectacle. Yarberry has an MFA in poetry from Washington University in St. Louis and is a PhD candidate in literature at Northwestern University as a Mellon Cluster Fellow in Poetry and Poetics. And now, S, please take the virtual stage.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is S. Yarberry. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a white trans guy with brown hair and brown eyes. I've got a bit of a beard and a bit of a mustache. My shirt is dark blue and green plaid. I'm wearing a little black hat, and the wall behind me is blank and beige. Before I get started tonight, I want to say thank you to Noah and Alex, both for organizing and for the invitation to read, as well as for the ASL interpreters here this evening. I'm so thrilled to be reading with Xandria, Kiki, and Red. Red is dear friend, one of my favorite people in the world. We have gotten to collaborate specifically on this awesome project called the MFA App Review, which Red started a few years ago. I'm actually going to put the link there in the chat. So if you want to check it out further, you can. But it's a great project, and I'm so happy to be here with Red. And I'm happy to be here with everyone, poets and otherwise. So yes, onward to the poems. So it's kind of two parts here. The first three poems I'm reading are from my forthcoming poetry collection, A Boy in the City from Deep Vellum. I forgot to put that in my bio, so I will do that next time. But yes, off we go here. Okay. Automania. I walk upon the proscenium, shout, I am uncomfortable in this current formation, or proclaim, I should say, I proclaim it. The simple things are as follows. It is October, the sky is gray and thick like a woolly sheep. We are shepherds of our own making, rain de minimis. Abstraction isn't useful, but it is, and we use it. We are lovers, and we are. I sit around today thinking to myself, this blushing ichor covets to be mine or my origin. This is my oniric self, not my generic self. This, for instance, is my formal self. Does my body elude you or seduce you? I stand each morning as an unknown entity, not formless, but formidable. Language is a parapet, just as my body is a parapet. If a word is a barricade to meaning, then how do we say, this is corporeal, not corpse, but soft? What I mean, I stand each morning on the daily stage. When I say shout, I mean look, the reflection, something so fantastical that I cannot believe I hate it. All right. The next poem is called "And Then We Saw the Daughter of the Minotaur," which is an ekphrastic poem of a painting by Lenore Carrington. And then we saw the daughter of the Minotaur. The clouds came into the room. The dogs were asleep on the floor. When I looked for something solid, everything popped, then disappeared. The cloak, like salmon, slid to the ground. A song of gossip played and played. There was a time I wanted nothing more than stillness. All I got was more want. The want beseeched me. I worked hard. I undressed at night. When visited, I was interpreted fragmentarily. Nobody sees me. The vine curls up the stone pillar. The yellow tablecloth wrinkles. I pick up my cloak. You can marvel at me. I am marvelous. Look at me again. My back to the night. Okay. Trans is Latin for cross. Across as in over there, beyond. The phrase life expectancy isn't sexy per se, though it is beautiful to have a life and a love. Even when I think I wish I could be only a freak out, only crossing the street. I suppose there is a sense and there is a nonsense to what it feels like to be. I pose, I compose, in a trans way, of course. I can't listen to sad music. Please, don't make me. When I take off my shirt in the mirror, it too isn't sexy, or rarely is it sexy. I cry, and that's the truth. One past love pushed me against the wall, said, "Do you want to feel like a man?" Sure. There was a summer storm. We fucked for hours. Then she smoked while I slept. Simple. It's not that I became anything. I was, and I slept, and I sleep. It is nothing special to not want to be hurt. Okay, I'm going to read a couple more poems from a newer project. This project's on Robert Blake, who's, we're doing kind of shift change here. Robert Blake, who's William Blake's brother, who I study at school. And yes, Robert appeared to William often after his death as a ghost or a vision. For someone, so essential to William Blake's life, there's really little to nothing known of Robert in kind of the history of William Blake. So these poems are in conversation with Robert. Robert comes back. My shirt was blue and my pants were blue, and I loved the sky in the morning. Wind taking the snow off the tenement rooftop, like smoke, you used to say. Like smoke, I appear, I disappear. The snow twirls up like a fire put out. As boys, we always wondered what it was like to be divine. A holy scale, my eyes, they glimmer like that. Hellacious serpent, green, then blue, then back again. The Thames flipping shades under the good moonlight. I laughed a lot. I did things wrong, salacious and unforgiving. I went down hard inside myself, wanting to die and wanting to live, and always wanting both at the same time. We'd stare up the perpetual maple. I never saw anything where you saw it all. I threw myself perpetually into another perpetual night. Epic, I so wanted to be. People love when something happens. Yet in the end, what? I was sick and died. It was so simple how it happened. Life and stopped. I made no mark. Dreams, no, nothing. Obliterated, done. So there are only about 2 known or semi-known pictures of Robert Blake, drawings by William Blake himself. And one of them is only maybe a image of Robert. So this one is called Perhaps Robert Blake, circa 1779, 1780. The boy's hand rests upon an unknown object. One imagines the solid back of a chair omitted. A slight bend at the knee, coquettish and troubled. He stands with his face turned down like he isn't there at all, like he's taken himself out of the image entirely. The quiet nude stands very still. A few years from now, he'll become a statue that doesn't wake up. When I tell him to speak, all he can say is the world one wants isn't the world one gets. When I tell him to stop, he doesn't stop. He keeps going, never bringing his face to meet mine. The world, the want, the world, the want, and how, of course, I don't deserve it. Okay, this is my last poem. It's called Blake's Parable, and off we go. Blake's Parable. I draw a line in the sand. I say my life begins here, starting now. I am leaving it all behind. Robert laughs. He goes to stand on the other side of my line. And now, what about me, he says. Robert so desires an origin, and I tell him so, hitting him where it hurts. Robert takes the stick. He draws another line parallel to the first. He stands on the other side of his line. Distance, Robert says, without saying it. The lines seem arbitrary at first, just things that are. Then they grow into something else entirely. Robert stayed silent, and so did I. He takes the stick and begins to dig slowly between the 2 lines. Depth, I consider, but remain quiet, even when I don't want to. He digs silently, slowly, digging. Days and nights come to pass. There was nothing beautiful about the distance nor the silence that became their lives. One day, the digging is done. Robert gets into the hole and lays down. I call to Robert. Nothing. I reach my arm down into the hole. Nothing. I peer down with a light. It provokes nothing. I am alone now. The bad kind. Robert, I say, nothing. Robert, I find myself saying my whole life now, getting nothing and wanting only this one thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, S. You can read more of S's amazing work on their website, which I'll put a link to in the chat. And our next reader is Kiki Nicole. Kiki Nicole is a poet and artist who works to archive very Black feelings. They have been invited to join fellowships and workshops with Pink Door Writing Retreat, The Watering Hole, In Surreal Life, and Winter Tangerine. Individual poems have been published or are forthcoming in the Shade Journal, Bee Stung Mag, Peach Mag, and more. They are currently a poetry editor at Muzzle Magazine and the 2021 Citizen Literary Fellow at Grey Wolf Press. They live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And now please welcome to the virtual stage, Kiki Nicole.
Hi, I am Kiki Nicole. My pronouns are they, them. For a visual description, I am a medium-toned Black femme, meaning I exist outside of and despite gender. I have honey blonde box braids piled atop my head in a bun. I'm wearing reddish brown lipstick, a white top, a wash black shacket, a small gold banner necklace, gold earrings, septum ring, and I have an opal embedded in my fulcrum and my left nostrils. Behind me is my bookcase. The books are arranged in a rainbow. I'm anxious and very excited to read you some poems today from my bedroom in North Carolina on Catawba land. As you've heard, I'm here by invitation of Xandria Phillips, the greatest of all time, whose workshop on avant-garde poetics felt like a huge bright light in the pandemic. They're definitely an artist that I look up to in the interdisciplinary ways they continue to refuse, and in their commitment to welcome folks as they are. I feel really grateful to be able to present some of what I've been working on, a lot of which were birthed in that class or reinvigorated by their teaching. So my first poem is called "And Your Father is Absence." And the home itself is an offering for a desert mouth and seized back, our mud mouths twinning the altar. I stack empty diva cups and crochet the leftover clots in his name. Oh, I hold and stay holding. Our mother gave my sister her father's name, and our mother gave me my father's name. And for this, he should beholden me. I sorry myself into backdrop and search flesh of my flesh on Facebook. New family, who this? I mark birthdays close to mine, and any eyes lopsided and dark and akin to mine. My lineage, a cotton swab refused, and call him by his name in the house of his bones, which are and stay my own. I invited my women over for a party and surrendered him alive to our table. And before I thought about what's at stake, we took him and then became him. Like how the freshwater you alone put out for libation gets drunk somehow and dissipates. I know nothing of his dead who block me, but I know where they stay. And I won't speak too much about wombs, but trust he would never make one for me. And my second poem or draft, I don't know, is called Damn Bitch, You Live Like This? All this anxiety and no ass makes me wonder how I do it. My fears are repetitive, redundant, and forever ever. The fact that I will end, I will end, I will my body will spoil itself into bones, and those bones of mine and my mother's bones, and my mother's mother's bones, and the bones of my sister, and the bones of our ancestors, and the bones of our rapists, and the bones of our lovers, and that of our grandchildren will explode one day, sure. Somehow, sometimes my living makes a curse of me. There is nothing I can do. I can hold myself. I can exhale or not. Amen. I lack the tools to body. I think of the heartbeat in my brain, how it too will end with me too soon, much sooner than our sun. I think of how I'll rot. I think heaven is dubious and full of it. How do we expect a heaven to exist after supernova? What is a spirit's contingency plan? Who is the I after I when there is nothing? And my lineage is a white page. What can I build here without me? My subject. Once there is no planet, no matter, when we haven't even our bones. I am afraid of my subject. I want to kill my memory. Once this earth and I are swallowed, my soul to keep somewhere, and whose whole is it anyway? I have one last poem to read, and it's a suite, like an ekphrastic suite of golden shovels that I was commissioned to do from the Studio Museum in Harlem, based on the amazing poems of paintings, but they feel like poems of Nalene Pierre. Every little piece except for one is a golden shovel. So if you're interested in that, you can find it on the Studio Museum website. This is flesh I'm talking about. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and don't know who she think her is. On the brink of civil war, I can't afford to give a shit. Alter ego, take my hands. Survival, a performance I'd be pretending. Maybe I laughed then, for the world was small and I was enough. I knew how to tether it, like sewage in my throat. Flimsy hoard of refuse don't deserve no song. I want more at the end of this wretched shell, this longing vessel. I want to begin again. Want, dangerous when moving. Even if I claim this nowhere, it act like it don't want me no more. Is survival enough? I want more. I say void as it is a space traditionally believed to be empty, to which I counter, empty to whom? Who always been in your clearing? Who preformed you? Who pushed a loving flesh, a young doe, needed this fresh work? You were made for this, and all your syllables and cavernous want, here, dreaming lasts all day, our gift to you. Take the body and begin again, so wild, habitual be, anchor from titty heft, to remember your wings, grow horizontal, bent at the core, listen, that gut speak, what we've been telling you all along. Who pushed you here so wild? Who pushed you here so broken? A freedom dream. My favorite dream is the one where a bitch can actually get some rest. Who do I gotta be to get free? Where what awaits for me is a bed of amethyst sent by my mothers, shaped in our dark image, nigga-esque. We're up in here. You and I will live long Black lives. Unnation my speech. I have no record of tongue here, where we drip so heavy, we pour ourselves out from ourselves. So can I sleep on my own lips tonight? Who do I gotta free? This language broken. Who sent you here so broken? This sanguineous body anthem sang me to rest here. It called our name. This void Arost portal, wild habitat home. Sometimes I forget yourself. I have no desire to become a person to a stranger. I ain't got time to be any less than all that I am. Name yourself. I am. Once upon a time, she said, I'm not afraid, and her enemies began to fear her. The end. I deserve to be interrupted by care. I feel most free when I get away with living. As I dance a young ragtime is to flesh of my fresh, as every nigger is a selection of spirits, as fire is to memory. Everyone inside me says hello as I sharpen my overbite, steam set a finger curl coiled by wings. Mentally, I'm here as a hot thing is too stained, ardent with pink, Uniqua from Backyardigans pink, as not pink like. I wear my mother's skin. Every nigga is we, all of them. The same breathing, space forgot, on geography, my body. I be laughing in mirrors when I'm alone with myself. Cackle is to eyes, as us, gamma rays. What you think was gonna happen? Does the growing upset you? Very well. It has been so long since we had me all to myself. There is a queerness to my survival. I will live a long Black life. Let me water my feet. In that, I grow storms. My hands reach out to meet me. My throat opens in my throat. I wade in the wash of myself. Compare that to a summer's day. The dark lineage of all who I have come from and myself. All I will birth. Those I am talking for and with and after and to and all these damn poems. To whom I owe my enoughness. The Black, queer, and trans, and non-binary, and women folk my Black yearns to make sanctuaries for. And all these damn poems. One big-ass demonic ground. We irrigate by blood, sink and just be, wade in the wash of ourself. Thanks again to the Poetry Foundation and to all the other amazing they thems that I just read with today, to the wonderful ASL interpreters, and to you for making space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kiki. And if you'd like to learn more about Kiki and their work, please visit their website or social media, and we will put those links in the chat right now. Our last reader tonight, our last reader of our last open door reading of the season is Red Samaniego. Red Samaniego writes about freak love, border worlds, and being a better communist. Samaniego is the 2019 to 2020 Junior Fiction Fellow at Washington University in St. Louis, the 2019 Sandra Cisneros Fellow at Under the Volcano in Tepoztlan, Mexico, a 2018 Hattie Fitz Walker Scholar at the Fine Arts Work Center in Provincetown, Massachusetts, and the 2018 to 2019 Editorial Assistant at Dorothy, a publishing project. They're at work on a novel, and they can be found on Instagram and Twitter, and we will drop those links in the chat as well. Red, please take it away.
Hi there. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm just gonna mess with my mood over here because I got farm internet. A ver. Eso. Cool. I'm gonna lean. So my name is Red. For a visual description, I am a mixed heritage person with a round face, white skin, my dad's strong nose. I'm wearing a dark blue button down with a black leather vest over it, and a pink baseball cap that has white letters spelling out the name of my uncle's blues band. Behind me, you can see a little bit of an old farmhouse, including or featuring a white pleather couch and faux white sheepskin pillows. And I just wanted to start by thanking the other readers and the interpreters and everyone that helped to make this event possible. And a special thank you to S for inviting me to read with them. S and I have been holding each other for a while now in this sort of collaborative experiment. And I'm so happy to know them and to be working alongside them in several ways. I am a prose writer, and so I am going to read one short piece titled Total Liquidation. Total liquidation. Plaything 1 and I hose down in the east wing in what the fuck calls the cleanup bath. I brush the soft curl of the lip of the tub and step in, my palms sore and fruit stained, and Plaything 1 waits their turn. All day the fuck, Plaything 1 and I have read out loud in bed while we sweat, crushed stone fruit with our chests and feet, spat into each other's mouths, caned and got caned. I bend and twist to let the hot spray run me clean. Through the glass door, I watch Plaything 1, lithe and limp on the slate tiles, dressed in bruise on top of new bloom bruise. They were just props, I say, when I see Plaything 1 turn a page in one of the books we brought in to wipe clean of blood and juice. The fuck loves us in those knit vests and ties, says Plaything 1. The fuck is in a schoolboy zone, I say. I, at least, am no poor sport. I like our prep school dress. I shake peach pulp from my hair. I soap the raw rim of my hole and watch the suds roll down my thighs like plum wine. Fog clouds the room. Plaything 1 gives a loud, clear-the-throat cough, as if phlegm is the start flag for a smart thought. I spy a wan flip of blonde hair through the fog cloud and glass. Though we are both built like playthings, I am the kind with brawn. Long hair like their blonde curls would veil what I know the fuck loves me to bear. Plaything 1 puts on a schoolboy in the front row voice and reads, "A sway or wave of the hand has been a sign of goodwill since the start of time. Those who can read skin will know the 4 palms, smooth, rough, damp, and vile." Plaything 1 sets down the book and strikes pose after pose, as if there'd been a strict pause on glitz and it's just now safe to get back to the task. I cruise my hips for stray pulp and seeds. Plaything 1's palms are damp and vile as the blue froth that floats up and blocks the sun. The froth kills the wasps and wrens and makes all our days cold. It used to be a lake. And then through the fog cloud, I hear, "My mom's mom was found dead." I know that, I say, though I had not. The news does make some sense. The fuck would not so much as hear and ask for one of us to miss a shift, but I had seen or felt some sort of plea from the Pearl Room a few weeks past, and then Plaything 1 had been gone for a stretch. The fuck bought me a silk piece to wear to the wake. A big black sash was the look, and there were shoes with stiff bows and blown glass rings. I brought my own watch. I took the Sky train, but when I got to the house to change, I'd left my bag on the train. This is the year so far known for its spring of ash, the red heat of the fires, and then smoke, and then the quilt of gray the wind pulls down on us. It kills all the trees. Next, from what I hear through the fog, this could be the year I'd bathe and boss and tease the fuck with free rein. Just me. I brush rose oil through my hair and smile. I do not think it wise to dream, but most nights my mind runs off through a field of black brush to a time when Plaything 1 is gone for good. I wake to my own fake sobs. The dry salt trails of my tears please me with their own prick of sweet. "They lent me a suit, quick. We all share these long limbs," they say. But my feet were too small for what they all could scrounge. So this man It was my dad, but he's not the same now. He's old now. He took me to the back room. It's just tarp and wood. And I thought it was so he could scold me like when I was a kid and he was not so used up. But I was wrong. It was in the back room where my mom's mom kept her shoes. I wore her own shoes to her own wake. Do you feel no? I ask. Well, no, I felt no soul or warmth of hers. Zip. In fact, I left the room, walked out the house, and turned east toward the park, where I know none of the boys now, but it's still the same, and I bought a smoke-off one. It was just a few cents, but I'm off the track of cash and cost these days. There was a pause to let me nod like, yes, we both know how it is. We're both here in the fuck's bath. We both sleep and shit in pearls. I had no bills, no coins, they continue. So one of the boys bent down. The shoes were that old style, a coin stuck in the small strap across the toe, and he took the 2 cents from my mom's shoes. I've done it all with not one bat of an eye. You've seen what I can do. But right then my face grew so hot I thought I'd burn. I take a peek at the beds of my nails, clean, my hands spank pink. Years ago, we were 4. 4 in the gold room to lick the fuck's cash and paw gems with our toes. 4 in the pearl room in blonde wigs and the same white dress, too near to a coy wind that blew our hems high, high, high. 4 in the coal room to yawn at the fuck who was just such a bore. We were walled in, but it was fine work. Out past the walls was what most of the world had come to, a wide swath of dirt, old shells, fish bones, a cliff. I like to be owned. Take me or make me take you. Dress me as a carved wood chair and leave me in the tea room all day. Make me wait hours and hours for you to come sit. I do not like to share. This has been true of me since I was a child. I say, do you wish you'd said last words at the wake? I use my voice that's like a hug on a knife. I wait. I watch the blurred in and out of a chest racked with mute cries. The air in the room is a thick steam. My skin prunes. Plaything 1 yells, but why did I leave them for this gold-lined world? For soft hands? For bows? And then I stood up to say, but they didn't want to hear from me. I've been gone too long. Plaything 1's words pull taut a sheet of crude grief. And with that comes the tug. I was born to play, kiss and bite, lamb and wolf. I do so love to watch, but when threads tear, I can't just look. I have to help. I think up what will hurt most, and I say it. They must still love you. The tiles strip. I am a hot stone, hard in my own hand. I pulse, and then I pull my own reins, and I heal. Thank you.
Whew. Thank you, Red. Thank you so much. That was so icy and campy and gave me shivers and all sorts of glamorous feelings. You can follow Red on social media at the link that will be posted in the chat. And now it's time to give a big round of applause to all of tonight's incredible readers: Xandria Phillips, Kiki and Nicole, S. Yarberry, and Red Samaniego. Everyone was so amazing. This was such a special reading. Thank you also to our captioner and our ASL interpreters, and to all of you present with us for watching tonight's reading. You can check out our website, poetryfoundation.org/events for future virtual events and library programming. Be safe, stay well, take care of each other, and good night.